and we'll be live. Good morning, everyone. We are live here at Sapwood Cellars. We have Scott and Josie of Suspended Brewery Company. We're in Columbia, Maryland right now, and we're going to go through the process of brewing beer, vegan beer at that, and also a vegan milkshake. We'll talk about that as well. Show us what's going on here, Scott.
So we're at Sapwood Cellars today. That's where I'm a co-founder of. And so this is our brewery, the back end of our brewery. So these are our mostly wine barrels here that are souring. So we put bacteria in these on purpose that gets them sour and
bacteria.
Probiotics, maybe. Yeah.
Probiotics, right? Sounds like, okay, is that a kombucha thing? Or?
It's similar in a lot of ways. Yeah, a lot of overlap. These sit for about a year before we start blending some together and putting them in bottles. Sometimes we'll re-ferment them on some fruits, like wine grapes or cherries or something like that.
One year?
So those are so behind us here are some of the bottles we've already spent time in the barrels.
Okay.
So those are already, those sit for a couple more months or longer in bottles before we sell them. And then the quicker stuff, the quicker turnaround stuff is our cans.
Ooh, look at the magic in here. Oh my God, and it's cold. Why is it cold in here? Look at that. That was
all of our cans are vegan beers, and we like to put it right on the label so people know it's a sneaky thing.
It's a sneaky thing. Wow, you got a lot of stuff in here. Awesome. Well, give me some background. Like, how did you get started? Why beer? Why are you into beer?
Well, I used to work in politics in DC, and beer is a lot more enjoyable. So that's one reason.
Okay.
But I just became fascinated with the process and ended up writing a bunch about beer, and that's how I met my business partner, and we've just kind of slowly progressed organically into the brewery from just homebrewers and bloggers and writers. And
yeah, funny enough, I read Scott's blog and I read Mike's blog quite a bit, and that's really how I learned to brew. It's just like emulating everything that they would do. I would just sort of copy that shamelessly, and it was a good way to learn how to do things. And a lot of brewers have previous careers, and I did sustainability work. I did energy work in particular. And, beer was just so cool. It's such a wonderful community. It's inherently communal. The product in and of itself is like, it's the world's most favorite beverage.
Really?
Ever.
Awesome.
Beer outsells spirits and wine, just saying.
Well, let's talk about the vegan aspect of it. The vegan beer. Is that a thing? Because people, especially in my world, I own the Land of Kush, and again, I'm contributing for Jane Unchained News. People are like, vegan beer? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's kind of like wine in a lot of ways. Some wines aren't vegan because, for one reason, gelatin is often used. And that's a clarifying agent that helps to kind of clear out a beer, drop solids, yeast solids, or hop solids. And so we don't use any gelatin here at the brewery.
Oh, gelatin is pork, everybody. If you didn't know that, hello.
Yeah,
if you use an animal gelatin, it's pork, right?
It just like sort of the culinary industry, just like many other industries, there are a lot of things that evolved out of sort of like a real silly way because it was the only method available. Guinness, for example, used fish bladders, used isinglass to clarify the beer because that at the time that was the way it was done. And then sometimes people are very hesitant to change process, and they have these legacy things that they do for no particular reason at all, even if there's better ways to do it. And so I'm almost positive now that Guinness their famous stout is now vegan. There's no more isinglass used. But yeah, so most beers are going to be vegan, but the fact that beer is so wonderful and it can go end zone to end zone, really. You can have sour beers, roasty beers, lager beers, hoppy beers, beers with fruits and spices, anything from the culinary world we can steal. We have a more dynamic process than any other fermented beverage. And so it's cool. We can do a lot of things with that. We heat things up and we cool things down and we can let things mature and we can put them in barrels. And so just by virtue of that, we have a lot of latitude to put some specialty ingredients. And so brewers often do. They make things like oyster stouts. They make things like milk stouts. They make things like milkshake IPAs, which are not vegan, and they use milk sugar. They use lactose because it's not fermentable by typical beer yeast.
This is a trend now that's more and more popular. You'll see lactose in a lot of beers. Sour, fruited sours, hazy IPAs will get lactose a lot of times, and usually it's not even on the label. There's no requirement. It says it has to be on there, which is why I like to put on ours that, you know, it's vegan, it's not in there, just to give people a little reassurance that what they're drinking is you know, fits their code or what they believe in.
How long have you all been open?
We're going to be 3 years this September.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
3 years. That's very good. You overcame the first year mark, which is usually the hardest.
Yeah.
What about you?
We'll be 3 years in a couple weeks here. March 3rd, we turn 3.
Woo! Okay, so y'all happy about this. Well, show us what's going on. We want to know about the vegan milkshake.
We joined forces here. We're doing a collaboration beer together. And so we decided to.
Why collaboration? Why do y'all
it's fun to do. I think the brewing industry is unique in that there's, you know, technically you're in competition, but it does not feel like that at all. You are very open.
Thank you. So breweries can collaborate, because a lot of times we're doing this vegan restaurant week and people are like, it's too much competition. Are you serious? We're not feeding everybody in Maryland. There's something for everyone.
Yeah, there's too much to learn from other professionals, and I think part of collaborations is you have an excuse to do something kind of fun and unique. You can learn from their process. You can see some of their equipment or tips and tricks that you can take back with you, and it, you know, improving beer overall is only going to help the industry as a whole, and so it's kind of fun in that regard. So we decided to do a vegan milkshake IPA, and so we are going to do we're throwing bananas into the fermenter to kind of have like this creamy banana sort of effect, and then macadamia milk is going into the whirlpool, which means, you know, towards the end of the boil we start to cool it down and spin it, so we'll add macadamia milk. We have a banana forward yeast strain, so it creates esters that sort of mimic bananas, and then we're going to dry hop it with a couple of varieties that I think will create more of that rich fruitiness. So hopefully we create something.
Yeah. Hey, you drew my attention as soon as you said the vegan milkshake. That's a beer. So definitely.
The key difference here too is that a lot of brewers are going to use lactose. They're going to use milk sugar for this. We're using malt sugar for this. And so it's just sort of another way, almost like you guys do at Kush, where you show like soul food does not have to have animal products in it, right? It could be vegan and it's wonderful and delicious. You lose no culture, you lose no deliciousness, you lose nothing, and you only have everything to gain, in fact. And so we like to show that you can make any beer vegan, and, you know, not only could it be just as good, but, you know, we think it's better. Yeah, we think it's going to be better.
Awesome.
So they're actually, we can come over here and see they're brewing it right now behind us.
Oh, they're doing it now? Yeah. Oh, wow. Came at the right time. Those are the fermentation tanks here?
The beer goes after it's introduced to malt and water, and the sugars are extracted, and it goes to the boil kettle, and it's boiled.
Wow.
Lots of hops. They love hops.
Lots of hops.
Okay.
And then you chill it down and add it to the fermenter.
Okay.
So if you sneak around over here, well, they all ran away because of the cameras. But this is the hot side stuff. So this is the mash tun where the grains go, and then we transfer what's called wort at that point. It's the liquid without the grains, where all the sugar has been extracted into the boil kettle. So we boil over here for an hour, and then that's where we're going to add the macadamia milk. And then we're going to actually peel about 40 pounds of bananas and put them in.
40 pounds of bananas.
Yeah, and put them into this pot here, and sanitize them with some hot beer wort.
How long does the process take? The bananas. How long does this process take?
So we got started today around like 8:30, and then we'll get done around 6 p.m. And then after that, it's about 3 weeks until we package it and it's ready for selling. So
wow,
from start to finish, it's usually about 3 weeks, depending on the beer. That can change a little bit, but
now I understand that some of these proceeds are going to go to support a nonprofit. Is that this milkshake?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
We're going to donate part of the proceeds of can sales.
Okay, that's awesome. So putting it into a good cause.
Yeah, everything it's oozing with intentionality. Everything that we do, it's from the ingredients that we use, how it's made, how things are done. it was really sort of hammered out. And not only did we want the beer to be a very thoughtful product, but the beer itself, the ingredients are uplifting, and the result of it should be uplifting. Again, beer is something that is inherently communal. And the wonderful thing about it is that you can drink beer and save the world. You know, we don't have to sort of put our sympathies on parade and sort of beg people to join the cause. We just make an awesome product and say, hey, you can also feel really good about this beer because drinking this beer, you support Black Veg Society of Maryland. And so for us, I mean, that's the coolest thing is that we get to be geeks and make beer, and then we get to have it have a double impact. That's how we make superpowers.
Now, question: would is this a healthy beer? I mean, because that's probably a question people are going to have, because everybody assumes that anything vegan is healthy, but sometimes that may not be true. Is the beer healthy?
There's vegan desserts too, right? They're not necessarily healthy. Maybe they're healthier, arguably, than their counterpart. But,
okay.
It's still beer. I mean, it's still alcohol in it, and it's still sugars in it.
Okay.
But
it's just one of your items to enjoy, and there's no animal cruelty involved with it and exploitation. Awesome.
Beer is not, it's healthier than people might think. Yes, your body has to stave off the toxicity from the alcohol. However, I mean, it does come from whole grains. There's vitamins, there's nutrients. The yeast itself is good for you. I mean, there's a lot of groups that, in fact, don't want nutrition labels on beer because they don't want people seeing how healthy it is. So, not to say that drink away. It's, certainly in moderation. Certainly there's a responsibility with consuming. But beer is, it's made from whole ingredients, made from whole grains.
I mean, we're okay saying there's real bananas.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you threw me off with the bananas and the macadamia milk. I gotta try this vegan milkshake. Josie, how have you been doing with Suspended Brewery?
Oh,
you're in Baltimore, Pigtown.
Yeah.
And you're participating in vegan restaurants. How's everything going?
It's wonderful. I mean, we have a really strong team, and we have a wonderful community that we're situated in, and it's nice that we've had to tighten our belts a little and dig in, but everybody's been so patient and supportive. Before the pandemic, we packaged nothing overnight. We had to package everything. So it's been a huge learning process, but I think we're going to come out of this even stronger than we were before. So, it's just the turbulence over the past year is starting to sort of calm down, and we're in a straight line at constant speed. We are doing some really cool things. We got some awesome stuff planned for our anniversary, and we were able to do some things that we were never able to do before.
When is your anniversary, and tell us where you're located in Baltimore? Yeah,
so our anniversary, we're celebrating March 6th. That's Saturday. Woo! Yeah, 3 years. The third time's the charm, hopefully. But yeah, we have 2 locations. We have our main brewery in Pigtown. We'll be doing a lot of events there. All of our Vegan Week events are there. We're hosting Charm School Chocolate, which is like a Willy Wonka factory.
I just got their bonbons. Very delicious.
So good. So we're hosting them this Saturday at the brewery. We do a lot of other. We do cocktails also at our second location in Whitehall Market. We actually have a new one that we're featuring for the Lunar New Year, which is Lunar New Year's Eve. We're going to leave the year of the pig, which in Pigtown, we're very happy about being in that. We're going into the year of the ox. So we have a special cocktail that we are releasing called Lunar Light in celebration of Lunar New Year.
Awesome. What's the address?
So for the second, our Pigtown location, our brewery is 912 Washington Boulevard. And then Whitehall Market, where our second shop is located inside, which is all sorts of other wonderful vendors there. Ceremony Coffee, we just did a collaboration with. Chef Ray Eugenio, Heritage Kitchen. He's also participating in Vegan Restaurant Week.
Yes.
And so there's tons and tons. White Tea Company, Gunalow Gourmet, Firefly Farms. There's Urban Burgers there. There's a lot, and they have a great vegan burger. So it's a wonderful trip, and we got you covered on all the beer. That's at 3300 Clipper Mill Road. There's indoor and outdoor seating at the market.
I'm gonna go check it out. Scott. Yes. Well, that's what this is about, Scott. Okay, Sapwood Cellars. Where are you located in Columbia, Maryland?
So we are located, like you said, in Columbia, Maryland, on Route 108. We're kind of more in like an industrial park, which is great for expanded space, bigger tanks, but at the expense of not being close to where a lot of people live. So that's why we're probably both a little jealous of each other's locations for those 2 things. But yeah, we're, like you said earlier, we are going to be coming up on our 3-year in September. And just like Josie and Suspended, I mean, we've had to do a lot of pivoting during COVID, and it's actually helped us in a lot of ways, just forcing ourselves to put things into cans. People really like beer in cans, we've learned. Less in kegs and less distribution to other bars because, people aren't doing that anymore. And so hopefully next year we start to get more people into the tasting room, and more people get vaccinated and are more comfortable going out, and we return to a little normal. Yeah,
we open at 2 o'clock today. What are you doing at 2? Are you open?
Yep, we open at 2 o'clock.
Okay, let's take a look at the tasting room. This is great.
Squeeze through here.
Yeah, be careful. Yeah, when I came in, I'm like, wow, I'd love to come in here and hang out. So this is the tasting room.
Yep, this is the tasting room, and so we've had to take out a bunch of tables and kind of space everything 6 feet apart for everyone's safety. And we have outdoor seating, but today temporary outdoor seating where we use some parking spots, but today is probably not the day for that.
Okay. But 2 o'clock, people can come here and they can order things. Is that
exactly? We do online sales. If you just want to pick up cans, or that's something you're more comfortable with, or do indoor seating, but half the capacity that we used to. But,
and there goes some more drinks.
We're lucky that we were at least able to do that and keep brewing and keep things moving.
Nice. Awesome. The new IPA. I had a question. Scott, talk about the new IPA, because I saw that in your bio.
Yes, so both my partner and I have published books. He wrote American Sour Beers, which is part of the reason we had all those sour barrels back there. And then I wrote the new IPA, which is a book, a scientific look at making hoppy beers, specifically more of those hazy looking IPAs, those fruit forward ones you've probably seen more and more of lately. So.
Probably the ones I like, because I'm not a big beer person. But yeah, I probably like those.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, challenge accepted.
They're really approachable. They're soft, they're creamy.
Yeah, that's me. Soft, creamy, love it.
Not bitter.
Okay.
Really fruity, and so hopefully, we accomplish that with our collab beer.
Awesome. Oh, okay. When will the vegan milkshake be ready?
So we'll probably have this ready in cans in about 3.5 weeks or so.
Okay.
And we'll most likely have a Saturday release, and we'll make sure to publish it on all of our social accounts when we actually get it.
We'll scream it from the rooftop.
Yes. And we'll definitely support too. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I'm gonna let them Josie and Scott give their last words if you have any.
Not really any last words other than hope everyone's doing well and staying safe. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak a little bit about vegan beer, which I don't think is on people's minds. And hopefully it educates people a little bit and gets people excited to try some new beers from us.
Yeah, I guess the thing that I don't know if the audience is predominantly vegan already, but a lot of times when I talk to people about thinking about going vegan, people think that they're giving up things, when really it's like, okay, well, I encourage people to start with one thing that's kind of inconsequential.
Yes.
Maybe start with cosmetics or house cleaners.
Yes.
Or beer, right? Most beer is already vegan. It's one thing to just kind of stay conscious of. Yeah, take one small step, let it snowball. And so, yeah, we kind of hope that could kind of be that for it, that we can sort of challenge people's assumption that, a vegan milkshake or, a milkshake IPA doesn't have to be sort of inclusive of animal products, particularly the lactose, and that we can say, no, you can do it just fine without it. And there's great substitutes that not are only like substitutes, but that can be even better than, the sort of quote unquote original. So, that, I don't know, that would be my last sort of, my cry.
Well, I appreciate that.
Tack onto that for a second here. I've been vegan for a little over 10 years now. I'm weird in that I don't have a date. Everyone's like, oh, this date I went, but it just kind of happened for me. And I've kind of seen what it's done for me in my life, health-wise, even how I, think about animals and other human beings.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like doing this as donating a little bit to a cause that is spreading that message a little bit. not force feeding it in any way. And, you know, not everyone is ready to do something like this, but getting that message into them now, they might, you know, act on it later or something. And
meet
so
people where they are.
Yeah.
And then, you'd be surprised. They may come along, you know?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I appreciate you inviting me down. This was a great experience. And I'm looking forward to the vegan milkshake. And you're tuning in to Naijha Speaks, contributing for Jane Unchained News. Maryland Vegan Restaurant Week. Go to mdveganeats.com to find out about all the participating restaurants and eateries, including Suspended Brewery Company. So be safe, everyone. And until I see you all again, thank you. Bye-bye.